Hello! Alright, welcome. Today we're playing Wiki Kozlovka. Let's go. User ID passcode. 789092. We got an email. Lysenko the Kozlovka local. I've read your news articles. I read your articles. And I think you can notice what others miss. You're thorough and, more importantly, careful. That's what we need. I've granted you limited access to the database. It holds more than enough if you know where to look. Attachments, database instructions doc. Whoa. Okay. Flashback, Jesus Christ. Instructions. 1. Use the hyperlinks to navigate around the database. 2. Drag the right words into the report. 3. When you are satisfied with the conclusion, submit your findings to me. I will review them. We can zoom in, zoom out. In the mail, press the attachment file you'd like to view. Hold and drag to move, scroll to zoom. Alternatively, use the plus and minus button. Okay. It's such a nice click sound. I feel like when I was younger, the clicky keyboards was all the rage. Nowadays, everyone just wants quiet keyboards. I think I'd probably go with a quiet keyboard, now I think about it. Clicky's nice, but I feel like it's got to fade off. Okay. Instructions. Webpage. Kozlovka. Kozlovka is a small town located in the eastern region of Zarnava. Nestled at the edge of the... Is this a real place? Where is this? Nestled at the edge of Bialowieza Forest. The town boasts its agricultural achievements with incredibly fertile soil. Kozlovka was founded in 1887 and survived significant challenges including German occupation during World War II and the later Soviet influence. Okay. Kozlovka. Looks nice, I suppose. Click on the hyperlinks to access an article. The bookmark icon allows you to bookmark the article visible for the flowchart. The flowchart gives you access to any visited articles. Click and drag to navigate. Use scroll wheel or buttons to zoom in and out. I can click the... Okay. It's at the edge of the Bialowieza Forest. Bialowieza Forest is located next to the town of Kozlovka. Known for its distinctive natural features, it is home to an ancient tree, the Draken Oak, which is believed to be over 1,000 years old. It is also the home of a unique rare fungus, symbiotic ergot. Okay. What's this gravestone? Oh, it's the marker for the forest. What is this symbol down here? It's the Imperials. Goddamn Imperial bastards. We're on Naboo. Still don't really know what it is we're looking for. Okay, I don't know what that is yet. Okay, do I have to click Kozlovka? And now I can add it to my... No? Ah. So if I'm on Kozlovka, next to the forest. It's home to an ancient tree, the Draken Oak. Draken Oak. Oh god. Quercus drakensis, Draken Oak, is a rare and ancient tree in the Bielawazi forest. The carving on the trunk was said to be a pagan tradition to honor the agricultural season. It is protected by the Tsar-Navian government in 1991 after establishing their independence. The tree is primarily host for fungus, symbiotic ergot. I assume that this is the fungus? Let's read about this fungus. Clavicus symbiotica, symbiotic ergot, is a unique fungus in the Bielawieza forest that relies on symbiotic relationship with their plant host, the Draken Oak. The fungus known to cause extraordinary fertility of the surrounding land. Dr. Kazimir Ostrovsky was the leading expert in the symbiotic ergot. Though uncommon, it can also be used as a medicinal herb. Okay. Let's go back to Kozlovka. Agricultural achievements. Kozlovka is known for its agricultural achievements. The yearly yield supplies 10% of the food in Zarnava. Their medical herbs are also known to be overly potent. Even with their success, there have been pushes to industrialize their practices, most notably the modern farming initiative proposed in the 90s. Okay, now we can submit our report. Kozlovka goes to a quiet town in Zarnava. It's beside the forest, a vibrant woodland, very distinctive ecosystem. At the heart of the forest is a tall tree stands proud. The locals refer to as the Draken Oak. The town itself has a thriving agricultural business, one which boasts bountiful harvests and provides food sustainability. My partner lives in the Alps in Italy, and they grow apples there. That's a thriving agricultural business. I worked on the farm for a few months. It was the most boring job I've ever had. I mean, it was beautiful, but you have to pick off the small apples so the big apples get more nutrients. So for 8 hours a day, every day, listening to the radio in a language I can't understand, with my girlfriend who didn't want to talk to me, and I'm just picking off tiny apples and throwing them on the floor. And I nearly went crazy. I lost my mind. Need more than this. You found something, but not enough. If you want to keep going, you'll need to understand where this place began. Look for patterns and connections. The flowchart is a tool, not a solution. Follow the threads, not the labels. Okay. So we need to find... Engraved on the tree, there are 2 runes, the top being blank and the bottom being blank. Locals clearly hold spiritual beliefs tied to the forest. These beliefs are not unfounded, but there are colonies of blank around the tree. The fungus is likely the cause of the town's agricultural success. Okay, we can probably get incredibly fertile soil. Medicinal herbs in the area are too potent for use and are not approved by the government. However, some locals vouch for their effectiveness, such as local pharmacist, Dr. Mislav Dragunov, and the witch. Okay, this is not the first time his name's come up. But let's the symbiotic ergot. The 2 runes on the tree. Okay. Oh no, it's a different doctor here. Let's have a look at the doctor. What a lovely face. Dr. Casimir, this article has been modified from an earlier entry. Dr. Casimir Ostrovsky is a Russian mycologist who specialized in the study of rare fungi. He moved to Zarnava and dedicated most of his 30-year career studying symbiotic ergot. He was invited to Kozlovka as part of the Modern Farming Initiative, primarily researching the ecosystem in the forest. I'm not even trying with the name anymore. Okay. Comes right round to the Modern Farming Initiative. The Modern Farming Initiative was proposed by Mayor Jan Dragunov in 1991 to revive Kozlovka agricultural practices. It was approved by the Zarnavian government after achieving independence in the same year. The proposal involved Dr. Casimir Ostrovsky, who was invited to the town to undergo research. The proposal was ultimately scrapped in 1992. I feel like we're going down a bit of a rabbit hole here. Let's... What else is in the forest? Oak. Kozlovka. Founded in 1887. Access restrictive. Date of the Winter Festival. Okay. Occupation. From 1941 to 1944, Kozlovka was occupied by the Germans and was a main source of food and supply for the German battalions occupying that region. In June 1944, a huge offensive was launched, cornering the Nazis in the forest. Dozens of lives were lost in the forest, which ended in a Soviet victory. Afterwards, Zarnava declared independence in 1991. Again, modified. Year of Zarnavian independence 1944. It did just say it. 1991. Not this one. It was the government. In 1991. Enter. Passcode accepted, loading page. Zarnavian Cultural Preservation Initiative. This initiative started in 1991 when Zarnava gained its independence. Its purpose was to preserve sites and documents of cultural significance. See below the list of topics related to ZCPI. Preservation, the Draken Oak, Modern Farm Initiative, Slavic rune symbols. Zarnavians have an Eastern Slavic ancestry and formed pagan beliefs, some of which come from runes. Few locals, like the Witch, still believe they hold power. Okay. Let's check out the Witch first before we... Whoa. That's fucking creepy as shit. Covering that up, I don't like that. The witch is a local shaman who owns a small shop on Kozlovska's high street. She is most known for her appearance with her iconic one bloodshot eye. Even as a pillar of Kozlovska's culture, there is a decline in interest for ancient pagan rituals. As a tourist, you can get her signature spiritual chalk. Yeah, we're getting down a rabbit hole again. This was the imperial mark. Associated with the god of thunder, this Slavic rune was believed to offer protection against misfortune and ill omens. This is a Slavic rune linked to the family lineage and ancestral blessings, frequently found on household objects. Izvini. This Slavic rune is a symbol of forgiveness and peace, is often used in pagan rituals associated with restless spirits. This was definitely on the tree. Zemyina's cross. Slavic rune is a symbol of fertility tied to a bountiful harvest, often carved onto tools or boundary stones. Two interwoven lines represent duality, growth and decay, renewal and remembrance. Some rural communities believed that this Slavic rune was a symbol of transition rather than end. Okay, so they believe the tree is a boundary of renewal, which I suppose means something to do with the afterlife. It's the cross on the top and the windy one on the bottom. Engraved on the tree there are two runes, the top being Zemya's cross and the bottom being the twin glyph. The locals clearly hold spiritual beliefs tied to the forest. These beliefs are not unfounded, for there are colonies of symbiotic ergot around the trees. The fungus is likely the cause of the town's agricultural success. I'm wasted in engineering. I should be a journalist or investigator, detective. Thank you. Apologies for being cautious. I needed to know you're the right person for the job. I haven't been fully honest with you. This isn't just research. Someone I cared about disappeared in the early 90s. Official records are incomplete and inconsistent. Most people stopped asking. I didn't. Yeah. In the 1990s, there were a string of disappearances, most notably. Who disappeared in the 1990s? Which? Spiritual Chalk is the flagship of the Witch, a local shaman on Colchester's High Street, is advised to be able to commune with the surrounding nature and the soul of those who perished with the rune symbols. Traditionally, it is a woman's job to mark sites with rune symbols, as many did in the past. What about the Doctor? Kozlovka is a Russian mycologist who specialized in the study of rare fungi. He moved to Zanava and dedicated most of his 30 years studying the symbiotic ergot. Nothing to say that he went missing, but it was edited. There was something else. Farming initiative, somewhere. Kozlovka Town Ledger. Mayor Jan Dragunov. Jan Dragunov is the current mayor of Kozlovka. He came into mayorship after he superseded his father, Atilia Dragunov, in 1992. Okay, so that's the early 90s. Could that have been the mayor that went missing? Atilia Dragov was the mayor of Kozlovka from 1945 to 1992. He was best known for establishing the Kozlovka police force and his affection for bisons. He was superseded by his son when he mysteriously vanished as part of the tragedy commonly known as the 90s disappearance. Okay. 90s disappearance. 15 people vanished from Kozlovka over the course of 2 months. In the summer of 1992, most notably Atlia Dragunov was among the missing, as well as one non-local. Let me just... The investigation led by Jan Dragunov ran cold after a year, having only found a few items from several victims, so he gave up in 1 year for his own father. This is the most recent tragedy the town had to endure. Kozlovka tragedies. Dr. Mstislav Dragunov. So I assume related to the mayors? An accomplished medical doctor and the local pharmacist of Kozlovka, he was the first to formulate medicine used in the local colony of symbiotic ergot. No one has been able to replicate his success. He is a vocal advocate of using Kozlovka's medicinal herbs for nationwide medical practice. So who else was a victim? Investigating ran cold after what, a year, having only found a few items. Oh look, that corner there is the corner of the stone here. So the belongings must have been found in the forest. And this symbol associated with the god of thunder, protection against misfortune. Well, it didn't work very well then, did it? Date of the Winter Festival. It's ultimately scrapped in 1982. Says that the modern farming initiative is scrapped because Dr. In the 1990s, there were a string of disappearances, most notably Ata Dragunov. Dr. Casimir was also a victim of the disappearances. It was because of this that the modern farming initiative was scrapped. The victims' belongings were found in the Bielorussia forest, which is where they presumed to have met their ends. Because it was his glasses. It was his glasses in the photo. I see. I can't believe they were so close to the town. This changes a lot of things. I need you to investigate further. By now you must have tried to access the tragedy page. We normally don't show this to the public, but I'll make an exception. Attachments. Request for access. Dear Volha, thank you for contacting the town hall after considering your close relationship with governing bodies and your request to access Volha. This is the person who's emailing us. 7328. Kozlovka tragedies. An uneventful town, Kozlovka has had a fair share of tragedies throughout its history. See below the list of notable incidents. Fair share of the tragedies that can coincide with sudden spikes in Kozlovka's agricultural yield from earliest to latest. Okay, so which ones? In August 1990, an unusual wave of deaths spread across the town. Most victims had pre-existing medical conditions and were found deceased in their homes. Postmortems revealed unidentified fungal matter within the bloodstreams. Suspected at first to be fast-moving contagion, the tragedy ended as suddenly as it began. Okay. There's nothing to indicate that the summer plague had anything to do with the agricultural yield. In 1965, a tragedy occurred when locals were reporting their pets missing to the authorities. It was revealed that dozens of animals were found mutilated at the foot of the Dragon Oak. Something's definitely up with this fucking tree. Although the investigation was quickly resolved, the bodies were proven difficult to retrieve, due to them decaying at a faster rate in the soil. What is this? What is this symbol? Battle of the Forest. From 1941 to 1944, Kozlovka was occupied by the Germans and was a main source of food supply for the battalions occupying that region. In 1944, a huge offensive was launched covering the Nazis and life, which ended a Soviet victory. Festival Massacre. In 1892, dozens of locals were killed during the Winter Festival. The culprit was caught murdering festival attendees in front of the Dragon Oak. When cornered, the culprits slit their own throat and joined the victims at the foot of the tree. It's the earliest tragedy recorded. Okay. So we don't know what, but we have the Winter Festival. 15th of December, 1512. The festival celebrated the hardship between people endured during that year. Wives would take up their husbands' tools as a sign of kinship and equal footing. The holiday is no longer celebrated since the massacre in 1892. And I assume this was when they would draw the runes. 1512. Was it the family? Nice. Dragunov family. Kozlovka was founded by Bohdan Dragunov and Elena Dragunova. The story goes that their love guided them to this plot of land in hopes of starting anew as a family. The memorial was erected to honor the family, which includes a quote that reads, "For the loss of few, there is still many." Bohdan. Bohdan Dragunov was a founding member of Kozlovka. Originally a carpenter, his career shifted to farming. Having their first child, who was born sickly. He was famous for being a terrible farmer, but nevertheless persevered. He was always devout to his wife, and famously said to have borrowed her strength in times of need. Yeah. Feminist. Based. Bohdan based. Elena Dragunova. Nov. Do they change the names in Slavic countries? Is it feminine, masculine? Elena Dragunova. Elena Dragunova was a founding member of Kozlovka. She was incredibly spiritual and set up the winter festival as her way of celebrating her husband's crops. The festival attracted dozens of people whose families made up Kozlovka today. She was always devout to her husband and was known in the community to set everything aside for the sake of her family. Good couple. Hasn't really helped us. That's that same symbol in the corner there. Do we have any kind of indication on the agriculture? Oh, yes. Here we go. Agricultural. There is president. Okay, let's have a look again. Summer plague is in 1990. Big peak. That's got to be one of the most recent. Then we're looking. What is this? 45? 1945? 1944 Battle of the Forest. And then 1890. That's the first festival massacre. Coincidentally, 1892. Actually, that might be 1992, not the summer plague. The 90s disappearances, and then they all happened in the forest. For a small town, Kozlovka had its fair share of tragedies. Among these are the tragedies that coincide with sudden spikes in Kozlovka's agricultural yield, from earliest to latest. Festival massacre, Battle of the Forest, 90s disappearances. Coincidentally, these tragedies were all committed in the forest. Redacted bypass. Your findings have been more than helpful, they're disturbing. This pattern we're uncovering is not random. Someone knew, someone let it happen. You must have redacted bypass installed on your system, like any good journalist. It's been a while since it has been prohibited by the government. So here's a refresher on how to access it. In order to enable your redacted bypass, you must first have your system code. You can find this in your computer system. (342). Then you will need the local area code of the city you'd like to bypass. You can find these in the address. In all addresses. Okay, so we need an address. I don't remember seeing an address anywhere. Town ledger. I don't remember where the address was. No. I don't see any address. It doesn't really tell me either. Okay, let's for now try and move on without it. We'll see if it comes up. The government's disapproval of the product. We did hear about this. Very fertile soil. Some locals factories the offences and not approved by the government. Must be. It was his product. What tragedy could he have caused? We don't have any date on him. Uh, There we go, 451. So, how do we do it? No. 342. We have the code. Okay, we have the code. I don't know how to use it. I think he caused the Winter Festival massacre because we know there was a culprit. So because of that, more of a farming initiative rather than any uses. Well, fungus. Is that correct? Redacted bypass. Three, 4, 2. I figured out. I've corrected it. 3, 4, 2, 4, 5. Shit, I passed it. 4, 5, 1. Redacted bypass. Welcome to the redacted bypass. With this program, you can access data from articles that have been previously modified by local authorities. Insert article name. I still think this guy. attempting data retrieval. He announced a more potent version of his medicine in 1989 but failed safety test in the subsequent year and was not approved by the government. 1989. So the safety test would have been 1990. In 1991, a usual wave of deaths. Let's check out. Frequent patrons of Dr. Mstislav Dragunov, who regularly complained that standard medicine would not help people with such long-standing medical conditions. After a swift investigation, the police said there was no correlation. There we go. After the government's disapproval of their product, Dr. Mstislav Dragunov caused the tragedy Summer Plague. Because of this, Jan Dragunov proposed the modern farming initiative to abandon any uses of the symbiotic ergot. Mstislav is a good man, but I knew his ambition would get to him. To think he risked innocent lives. I may have found something that is of use. What's inside is sensitive. Handle it accordingly. I'll continue digging around for more material. That's that symbol again. It's a bison. We know one of the mayors liked the bison and he started the police force. To whom it may concern, as you may know, it has now been 3 months since our mayor went missing. He was dear to our hearts, but alas, we must come together and continue running the town. The control of Kozlovka's police force and its public database will be transferred to his son, Jan Dragunov, as he will be taking the reins as mayor of the town. With that, the passcode to the town's ledger has been changed. It is now the heading code of the town hall. Thank you everyone for your patience. Heading code NW6, right? Heading code NW6. Check out. Well, that doesn't make sense. Okay, maybe I'm getting this wrong. NW6. So why can't I access it? A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N. 13. That's not right. NW6, why? NW6. NW6. True name. It's got the same symbol. 1965. Let's... Attempting data retrieval. Witnesses mentioned that they saw a red glowing dot darting around the area when the mutilation supposedly took place. This sparked a short-lived legend of an angry spirit in the forest. The police stated that this was a baseless rumor. An angry dot. Is it the witch? Let's check out some more of these redacted ones. We got that. Festival massacre. There was a disturbing rumor that the killer carved the runes into the drake and oak as part of the festival traditions. Although not much evidence suggests that it was speculated to be the reason why the festival is no longer celebrated. Okay. Battle of the Forest. German documents showed that the occupation was not a simple invasion, but to also investigate an event that happened in the late 1800s. These documents were given to the local police force. I feel like the police force is hiding something. Yes, there was the doctor. The other doctor. The talented mycologist went missing during his time in Kozlovka. When the mycology community asked for his research in the forest, the local government refused to release it due to sensitive information. Okay, so he clearly found something. Jan. Jan was infamous for being vocal about his disapproval of the use of symbiote ergots. After the plague, he launched the Modern Farming Initiative with the primary goal of phasing the fungi out of use. Okay. We concluded that already. Target chart. As the town was relatively small, there was no sheriff, and so the mayor was responsible for leading investigations. Upon appointing himself as sheriff, he stated, "As long as I draw breath, I shall keep this town thriving. Know that I will do what's best for Kozlovka." Mm-hmm. Surely. NW6. NW6. No. No, it should be. So. 270, 360, 90, 45, 315. Is it the degrees? There we go. Family governs the town of Kozlovka. See below the family members. We know about Atya. We know about the doctor. We know about Jan. Who is Lilia, the witch. Lilia Drasnovka is the adopted elder sister of Atya and Mr. Drobna, although she acted more as a caregiver to the two boys rather than a sibling. Not much is known about her besides of her eccentric personality. In 1965, the Dragunov family announced that she had ran away, though no investigation was held. Surely. 1963. And I would be willing to bet that that lines up with 1965. In 1965, they announced she ran away. Okay. Jan Volha. Volha Kozlovka. What? Volha Dragunova is the mother of Jan Dragunov. She is a proud mother and adamantly supported Jan's mayorship after her husband's disappearance. Although she no longer uses their last name, she still has close connections with the family. To carve the so the animal killings were at the tree. So which rune does she carve? I assume she's carving the bottom rune, because the top rune was carved during the winter festival. She carves the top rune. You think it returns the site because the rune this one, maybe? Witch's true name is Lilia Dragunovka. They are responsible for the tragedy animal killings. They frequently return to the site of the tragedy to carve the rune I don't know how it was that one. I didn't get that too. That was pure brute force. think that the witch was their sister all along. And to think they had a sister to begin with. It's almost unbelievable. I found this document hidden in the archives. It felt like it was meant to be buried. It wasn't meant to be found. I hope it helps your investigation. Police force again. Year 1943. Research notes 144. Transcription. The tree looks to be centuries old. It can't be confirmed there are runes on the tree. However, it isn't in the chalk like in the pictogram suggests. It seems to be carved with some kind of carpenter's tool. Remind soldiers not to trample over the area and be careful of the delicate fungi. They are hard to spot, but they are there. Update. Found a letter, written a few days after the incident. We'll attach along with these notes. Okay. 1943. So that would have been Let's a forest. Let's check the redacted again. German documents showed that the occupation was not a simple invasion, but also an investigation to the event that happened in the late 1800s. These documents were given to the local police force. So that led to the Battle of the Forest. So the first one is the Winter Festival. Who is responsible there? And the two runes. We know that they did, whoever did it, did the runes on the tree. But who did it? Who was around back then? Founded in 1887. 1892. I mean, maybe Elena, she set up the festival. And surely she was still there. Too early for Attila. Too early for all the rest of the Chernobs. There has to be someone who was there a while ago. And he was a terrible farmer. For the loss of a few, there is still so many. Sounds very much like sacrificing. Burhan? Killer carves the runes. What did that letter say again? You may confirm there are runes on the tree? Some kind of carpenter tool. Because it's the festival massacre. And it was done with a carpenter tool. And he was originally a carpenter, so it must be. Oh no. He was a carpenter, so they had carpenter's tools. His wife was the nut job. I learned that Dragonova is responsible for the tragedy festival massacre. They are also responsible for the Slavic rune symbols on the Draken Oak. The rumors of the tragedy spread across Europe and led to another tragedy, Battle of the Forest. Okay. Yeah, she's really down for her man, no? This must have been the beginning of it all. I've heard the legend before, but always thought it was an old wives' tale to scare me when I was a child. I think we're uncovering a much deeper conspiracy than we thought. Surely someone must have known about all of this. How did the tragedies go unnoticed, unconnected? Okay, led the family astray. Must be. Seeing as he was in charge of all the investigations. Attila. Also from the family was Lilia. After the tragedy. Animal killings. And covered up mistakes by Doctor. After the tragedy. Summer plague. So Attila, corrupt cop. Damn, I actually thought he was a good guy at first. He led the investigations astray, ousted Lydia from the family, and covered up the doctor's crimes. You've done enough. I don't think this is a good direction to pursue. You've already done more than enough for the investigation, and your notes have been very helpful. But for now, I'm asking you to stop looking into this. Please leave it be. You must have been incredibly close. Okay, wait. We have the real name. And dig deeper. Volha Lysenko. Volha Dragonova. You must have been incredibly close to Attila Dragonov. After all, your real name is Volha Dragonova, isn't it? Pulling her out. Attila was my husband. He was everything to me. I loved him, and I never imagined he would be involved in whatever this is. I hired you because I wanted to know what happened to him, not to learn he might have been a part of it. I don't know everything he did, but he was always a private man. Please don't assume the worst without proof. There is more at play. There is a reason why there are so many tragedies. Everything traces back to one place, and the roots lead back to the tree. That tree is at the center of it all. We've come too far to stop now. I suppose we have to see this through. I went through his office. I hate doing it. It feels wrong, but something caught my eye. I don't know why he had this or what it means. Maybe you'll understand better than I do. I'm sorry, Jan, but it's impossible. The land is too reliant on the symbiotic ergot. Without it, we just can't. Maybe decades later something can change, but the damage is too dire. Your proposal will fail. And there's something else. I think I'm being watched. I might know who's behind the recent incidents, but I need certain before I say more. I'll explain in person. 1992. And the disappearances happened in the summer of 1992. July. So whoever it was sent a letter to Jan Dragunov. Now the modern farming initiative will fail. They also knew who was involved in, they say, the recent ones. They say the 90s disappearance. Let's try it today. Could it have been the witch? Recent incidents. Who would have known that it was reliant on the fungi? I'm gonna stick with 90s disappearances. Yes. Dr. Casimir Ostrovsky sent a letter to Jan Dragunov on how the modern farming initiative will fail. They also knew who was involved in the 90s disappearances. These are the last of what I could find. They know I've been looking into this. If something happens to me, please find... Evidence letter. Refer to research notes 144 for details. My dearest daughter, do not fear the sacrifice your mother made. Take the fungi and you will not only survive, you will thrive. Will remember your name as it remembers her. With all your love I still can give your father. 17th December 1982. Dear brother, I read her father's letter. Think about it. If the land feeds on what it is given, then maybe it doesn't have to end in ruin. Maybe this is how we survive. It's no wonder she never seemed to age. All this time, I needed to test it. A few small trials just to see. The thought alone has kept me awake for days. I know how it sounds, but this could change everything. Imagine what we could do for the next 50 years. Dear brother, time is running out. I think I'll have to start soon. Jan invited some expert after your clumsy mistakes, but I think I can handle them. Perhaps your trials were not failures. You said they passed in their sleep. It might be the best solution to make it as painless as possible. It's the best we can do for what we're asking of them. For the loss of a few, there is still many. That's the Dragunov catchphrase. Wrong Dragunov. That's how she looked in 1963. Definitely looks older. Are you there? Hello? Hello. I'd like to apologize for Volta Dragonova's actions as of late. Unfortunately, we've decided to terminate your contract. In the town hall. Please cease all prior investigations and send your invoice to the town hall. Your services will be paid in full. Thanks for your cooperation. Easy work. Paid in full for half a job? Thank you very much. That stinks of a holiday. Who'd be at the town hall? None other than Jan. Jan Dragunov. Is that you? That was a good guess. Or perhaps you've simply more perspective than I gave you credit for. Tell me, what's driving you now? Curiosity? Guilt? Or the need to be right, no matter the cost? I mean, the desire to finish the game, am I right? In real life, I'd be done. I'm done. I get paid. Not my business. Not my town, not my business. I take my money. And go a trip to Japan, maybe. You're probably the only one to understand. Too much blood spilled in the forest. Volha and I didn't know what we were uncovering. I guess in Kozlovka. Kozlovka. We didn't know what we were doing. The world must know. Stubborn as a rock, you are naive to think that simply telling the truth, telling everyone is going to solve anything. Truth doesn't heal, it spreads, it divides, it consumes. Fine. I'll let you continue your investigation. You already have everything you need. Perhaps you'll understand the position I've been forced into. Start from the beginning. The first letter. Research notes 144. Tree looks to be a century old. Written a few days after the incident. We'll attach it along with these notes. Evidence. My dearest daughter, do not fear the sacrifice your mother made. Take the fungi and you will not only survive, you will thrive. The land will remember your name as it remembers hers. Written by the father right after the event, talking about the sacrifice the mother made. It's written by Bodan. And addressed to his daughter. Who must be Lilia. Adoptive elder sister. Did we read her redacted? Childhood stories of being sickly. And the letter said, you'll not only survive, you will thrive. I think it's her. I think she is more than just a sister. Well, she's the elder sister, so I guess that makes sense. It suggests that the tragedy, the Winter Festival, not the Winter Festival, the massacre, the festival massacre, was a ritual to cultivate more Agriculture? Or symbiotic herb? In order to treat Lily's illness. Oh. Lydia's illness. The letter was lost to time, only to be found during the Battle of the Forest. Crikey, we've done it! Crikey! The letter was written by Bodan. This Lilia is still alive today, which puts her at, like, old. She's old. Continue. Ominous. Attempting the ritual. I read her father's letter. Think about it. If the land feeds on what is given them, maybe it doesn't have to end in ruin. Maybe this is how we survive. It's no wonder she never seemed to age at all. All this time, I needed to test it. Some beautiful trials just to see. Well, we know who was fucking obsessed with her condition. Mr. Dr. Dragonov. 1960 something. The summer plague. We know they caused the summer plague. What? 1965. Check this last letter. Time is running out. Okay. So we know he got excited. Doctor got excited, and the doctor caused the summer plague. After who found the letter? The doctor found the letter and sent it to Atea. Because Lilia had tried the ritual, causing the animal killings. Maybe the other way around. The other way around. So Lilia tried it, failed to achieve results because she tried to kill animals instead of people, I guess. She got caught. Attilia found the letter, sent it to the doctor. Doctor got excited, did some tests, and caused the summer plague. Keep going. You're almost there. After the incident, you invited other doctor to research the symbiotic ergot. While research was underway, he started the ritual again, causing the tragedy of 19's disappearances. I'm not convinced he started the ritual and not Attila. Doctor said something was wrong, tried to warn you. But Attila, I guess maybe the doctor? Maybe these are the other way. I'm missing something. The land. Maybe they're both Attila. I got Attila here. Fuck's sake. Okay, there you go. So Attila signed his own fate. How did he die in the midst of it? Well done. I'm assuming you've already figured out what happened next. There isn't enough evidence, but I can take a calculated guess. You killed Attila. He was the last victim of the 90's disappearances. There isn't enough evidence, but I can make a calculated guess. You killed Attila. He was the last victim of the 90's disappearances. My father. He may have been my father, but by the end, he wasn't the man I knew. When I learned what he'd done, what he intended to continue, I had to end it. It was foolish, because in the end, the burden fell on me. The irony of it all. Some truths rot everything they touch. Do you understand why the past had to stay buried? Kozlovka is too reliant on the symbiotic ergot. The town was built on death, the rituals disguised as tragedies, and it's been feeding on that ever since. Casimir only confirmed what I was too scared to admit myself. The town is built on blood, and to the extent that the country of Zarnava. If we stop the process, people will starve. What's a measly few to sacrifice only every 50 years? It was a curse inherited by my family, but I've grown tired of the charades. I think in my heart I wanted someone to know. I won't stop you from doing what you think is right. I only wished my mother wouldn't need to know. Publish the article, delete the evidence, burn the tree. If we publish the article, we leave it in fate's hand. But then potentially we make it more of a myth. Potentially it becomes a breeding ground for those trying to replicate copycats. We delete the evidence, We sacrifice the few for the sake of the country. In the short term, the country starves. The long term, they recover, they find trade routes, they sort themselves out, they find other ways to feed themselves. Every other country does that. I think we got to burn the tree. Thank you for doing what I spent my whole life wishing I could. But every time I tried, I thought of what dying would mean, and I faltered. I was too scared, but now I've lived a much longer life than I needed. If Kozlovka survives, I pray it remembers you more kindly than it will remember me. Lilia. We made the right choice. We made the right choice. Creepy game. Short one, but good one. I think in that situation you gotta take the sacrifice to yourself and to what is potentially a good story for the greater good. I'm a hero, really. That's what they say about me. Project was a labor of love, and we hope you enjoyed the experience as much as we enjoyed creating it. Your game is saved just before the last report. Feel free to explore your endings. No way. Never do more than one ending. Maybe in like a couple of weeks, I'll go back and I'll look. But you gotta let it sizzle. You gotta sit in the ending for a while. You know, sit with the choices you made. It takes away the impact if you can go back and just check the other endings. You gotta accept what you got. I still haven't looked at the other Expedition 33 ending. Lost Wiki Kozlovka. I'd definitely be interested in playing a longer version. Great concept. And I love a mystery game, especially like a unique mystery game like that. Cool vibes, cool concept, something different. When we finish a movie, my girlfriend is always the exact opposites. I need to like sit and sizzle in like the emotional burden of what I watched. She's straight on Instagram. She loves to stalk the actors and get the inside scoop instantly. By the time we've gone to bed, she knows the fucking birthday and how many STDs the director has had. But different strokes for different folks. Alright. I'm gonna leave it there. Thanks for chilling. Check out the game. Peace out. Bye.